And welcome back to Focus on Africa. Now, 5 months on from the coup in Guinea, questions remain over the return to civilian rule. The country's National Transitional Council held its first session in early February. Now, the body is actually known by its French acronym, the CNT, and it's tasked with organising a return to civilian rule following the military overthrow of the democratically elected President Alpha Condé. Well, BBC Afrique's Caroline Loyer has been speaking to Dansa, Kourouma. He is the CNT's president, and she began their chat by asking him when civilian rule will return.
I cannot give you a date because I didn't even know this CNT assembly would be set up. So things will be decided in a collegial and participatory manner among the 81 members, in consultation with the other components of our country. I cannot give you a date, but during the coming months we'll be working continuously.
So the Transitional Council will suggest a time period for the transition, but will not make the final decision.
We're in a transition. There are several bodies. All decisions on the transition will be taken in a concerted manner, involving the President of the transition, the Prime Minister of the transition, and the CNT, the National Council of the transition.
So you won't make the final decision?
The final word will go to the President of the transition, who will surely issue a decree to mark the start of the transition agenda.
The composition of this council is quite controversial, especially because Guinea has around 200 political parties and they occupy 15 seats, and at the same time the military has 9 members. Does it seem fair to you?
A transition is not just for the political parties. A transition belongs to all the components of the nation. Yes, there are 200 political parties, but there are also 15,000 associations and the members of the security forces. I can't count them all. Thousands. What is important is that the 81 members of this council are all Guineans.
Isn't there a problem in terms of representation?
The military are Guineans. They are components of national life. And it took someone from the military to stop the descent into hell of our country, Guinea.
Almost 6 months later, would you say that the coup was necessary?
If you knew how relieved and comforted Guineans were the day after the coup, how liberated Guineans felt after September the 5th, you wouldn't be asking the question.
I'm asking you the question because you're from the civil society, you support democracy. A coup is not something that is democratic.
It is not democratic, but the previous regime, the political system that was in place, was not democratic either. That's why we're satisfied about the way this military coup was carried out. There's been some loss of life, but the continuity of the state has been preserved and justice has put forward. Now we will work to ensure that there will not be another military coup. No one can be happy about a coup d'etat in a country.